So, Karen, I am so glad you're here. You have been an inspiration to me and a force in this sport. I feel like since you started it, I think you started in 2017,
I did.
stood on national and world podiums, been in multiple
Yes.
countries, and all
Yes.
while training folks and riding on your Harley in
Yes.
between.
I actually have two now.
Oh, right. Oh, we'll have to talk about that. That's
Yeah.
definitely going to talk about that. We're almost the same age. We've shared the platform multiple times.
I
You've been,
have such a blast when we share the platform.
you're
You're just awesome. You and Joe come in and I'm like, "Oh, she's here. All right. Let the party begin."
all right. Well, that's how I feel, and I wish we were the same weight class now. Although you beat me every time, so maybe I shouldn't be glad. I got relief here, but we've never actually had a chance to sit down and kind of talk through how this all happened for you and how you got here,
Okay.
what it means to you. So I'm just really excited to talk about that with you and learn more about you and your journey. So
Awesome.
let's start there. You've been lifting a long time. You said you've been a personal trainer for
20
26 years.
26 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what brought you to strength training? When did you start? Why? How did that come about?
So I started personal training October of 1999. I'm originally from Connecticut, and I was doing architecture. I had an associate's degree in architecture, and I was doing it, and I was falling asleep. I was bored, and I worked with one of the best firms in Connecticut. They wanted to send me back to school to finish up my degree, and I was like, I can't continue to do this. I am so bored. There's no one to talk to. I like it, but I need something more. So I'm driving home one afternoon. It was springtime, and I saw this ad for personal trainers. I was like, personal trainers in the gym? Wow, that's pretty cool. So I said, I'm gonna do it. I dressed up, put on a really nice spring dress. Went in, filled out the application. They were like, "You look like you work out. You know what personal training is?" I said, "I really don't, but I'm if it has anything to do with the gym, I'm sure I could learn it." So fast forward, I go back to work in architecture, and I get a call, and it's to come in. They did all their in-house training, and they certified us for the company, one of the biggest gyms on the Eastern Seaboard in Connecticut, Fitness Edge. That's who I started with. And I was the 5 a.m. trainer. So went through training, lost my shirt because I wasn't getting paid for training. And I just once I found out I got the job, I just quit. And I was like, well, that wasn't smart because I had no money coming in. But I was like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna make this happen. So we had about 6 or 8 weeks of intense training, just learning how to deal with people, how to focus on exercises, and it was more about building relationships. So we did that, and then the gym opened. The one that I started at, it was in Milford, Connecticut, and we had our grand opening October of 1999, and that started my fitness personal trainer journey.
Were you like 32 at this point? Is that sound
30,
about
I
right?
was 33.
33. Okay. And
Hmm.
so this started your fitness journey. So are you saying you did not lift prior to this?
So I did lift, but not at the capacity that I do now. I wish I had been doing it before I got hired on as a trainer back in '99. But I played sports in high school. I did girls softball. And I ran track, and we had a flag football thing that we did while we were in school. But my formal introduction into personal training and like really understanding the body and how to use it came in October of 1999 when I started with the Fitness Edge.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty cool way to start sort of getting serious about lifting is to say, I'm going to go the whole way. And I mean, usually people start lifting and then they become a trainer, but you're just like, no, I'm going to be a trainer right out off the bat.
Right. And then the big thing that kind of the catalyst that kind of got me there was in my family, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, rampant. And I'll never forget one of my mother's brothers passed away. And my mother was one of 12, and all the siblings were at my mom's house. and everyone had pills. Oh, I have a sugar, I got a little touch of this or that, my pressure, blah blah blah. And I said, I don't ever want to be taking any type of pills for anything. So that was the catalyst for me. When I saw that, I was like, I got to do something. And then I was bored sitting at my desk, and I just was like, I got to do something. So between that and then seeing the big um, billboard, I was like, it's time to do something different. I never looked back.
I love that you were thinking ahead like that at that age. I mean, a lot of people kind of hit midlife, they start to get a little sedentary or,
Right,
some issues and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I got to reverse this." But you were like at
right,
33 already thinking, "I don't want that to happen to me."
right. Because I had already had my last child. I had my oldest one at 19, and then by the time I had my second one at 27. They were 7 years apart, and then my daughter at 19. I was thinking, I don't want to be 30. I don't want to be 35 and out of shape. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, 30's hit, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not gonna walk around and be worried about diabetes, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, just all the stuff that was rampant in my family. I couldn't do it.
So, you started powerlifting in 2017?
Yes, June of 2017. Like, I like to live heavy. So I always like to live heavy. And a couple of my coworkers were like, they saw me. I was throwing up like 35, 40 pound dumbbells on chest press, and they were like, "Have you ever thought about powerlifting?" And I was like, "No, that's for big people." How wrong was I? That's for that. That's for really tall, big people. They're at least 190, 200, 250. That's for. And they were like, "No, okay, it's not for big people. You probably do really well." And I was like, nah, I don't want to lose. I ain't strong enough. And they were like, no, no, you do. This is what you do. Pick an event and we'll train you for it. So I said, well, let me think about it. I'm not sure. I'm not going to do good. And they were like, we promise. Pick an event. Make sure it's about 8 to 10 weeks out. Find a federation and let's go do it. And so my first one was at the World Congress Center in Georgia. It was a Lee Haney event, and he has it every year. I picked it, paid for it, and we started training. But just it's once I started training for it, and everything was heavy and it was cool, and I didn't get hurt, and I was like, "Are you sure this is powerlifting?" And they're like, "Yeah, you'll love it." And that's why I tell anybody that gets into it, you either love it or hate it. And the first time stepping on the platform, I was hooked. It was amazing.
So, it sounds like you hadn't even seen a
Never saw
competition.
never saw a competition, never knew anything about it. Just did what they told me to do. I signed up. I didn't know anything about the lifts. I didn't know anything about squat, bench, or dead. Knew nothing about it. All I knew was I could lift heavy weight. So I was like, I'm in. And I was scared as hell. And they were like, you're gonna be fine. Just do what we tell you to do, and you'll be great. And I did what they told me to do, and that's when I fell in love with powerlifting and never look back. It is the best thing that I've ever done for myself. And my birthday is coming, and I'm getting ready to leave the 50s and head into the 60s. And I'm more excited about going into 60 than I was 50. So,
Why is that?
um, I'm stronger. I want to see if I can be like Linda.
Linda
She's
Franklin.
a Yes, like Linda Franklin. She's amazing. I'm learning a little bit more about discipline and just kind of protecting my joints and everything now. Because at this age, in the 50s, we'll say late 40s, 50s, people start running into hip replacement, knee replacement, and stuff like that. And I am proud to say I don't have any issues, none whatsoever. And I'm like, yay, yay, Karen.
Well, you must have taken good care of, I mean, all the movement that you've done over the many years. You know, you were lifting, you just weren't powerlifting, but
I would,
obviously,
right. I wasn't powerlifting. I always loved the gym. But I didn't understand about losing mass as you age. I just knew just from seeing my family, I was like, I just don't want to be there. I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to have health issues. I don't want to restrict my calories. And I just made it a fact to just kind of be careful with what I ate and stayed functional, stayed moving. That was the most important thing.
what does your nutrition look like? Do you eat any kind of a special diet, or is it sort of the standard, like, you know, high protein and
It's I don't eat a special diet. I try not to restrict myself. If I want to have a piece of cake, I'm gonna have a piece of cake. If I want to eat something, I'm gonna eat it. I'm just not going to go overboard. I just really pay attention to what I eat, and I don't say no to too much of anything. But when I notice myself kind of going overboard, I just taper it back.
like a moderation kind of mindset? It
Yes,
sounds like.
everything in moderation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I think, you know, when you start restricting yourself, I mean, I've done it. I'm on a meal plan. I do macros, but I've always done an if it fits your macros kind of an approach. And even
Right.
working with my coach, he does program my nutrition. And for most people, especially bodybuilders, you know, folks will program very specifically exactly what you're going to eat. And
Right.
when I started working with, you know, he's been my powerlifting coach for many years, but we just started doing nutrition together last year. I said, I'm fine. I know how to count macros. I know how to figure out what I'm eating. I want to be able to have a cookie, you know?
Right.
And
Right. I
I have
don't.
a little, like a little cookie or a little, you know, tiny Halloween size candy bar or something little and sweet after
Right.
dinner.
So you get to taste it and enjoy it
Exactly.
but you don't go overboard.
Exactly.
And that's what happens when people start restricting
Mhm.
what they eat and not having a relationship with food. A relationship with food is like anything else in life. You need to have a relationship with it. You need to understand what it can and can't do. This is what I tell a lot of my clients. You have a relationship with people, with animals, you have a relationship with things. You also need to have a relationship with food. Don't be afraid of it. Food is fuel. Understand what it can and can't do for you and then go from there. I'm learning how to count macros and stuff like that because I never had to. I've always eaten in moderation. Never been one of those people that pile a lot of stuff on their plate and ate it. That goes overboard.
Do you have a coach, or do you coach yourself, program yourself?
So this is kind of funny. I started out with coaches and they're like, you're uncoachable.
Okay, I got to hear more about this. First of all, First of all, you are you're a personal trainer, so I need to hear,
Yes.
do you agree with them that you're uncoachable? And if so,
Yes.
okay,
I agree.
why? What
I
makes you
always say
uncoachable?
I might have had some ADD growing up, but I never got it diagnosed with
Okay,
it.
okay.
Um, and I've always kind of beat to my own drum, and it's really hard for me to kind of fall in line with what they ask me to do, like taking videos, doing the workout, doing accessories, this, that, and the other. Because I work in a gym, I have to leave it so I can go back to it. The best time I had was when I worked out at Marietta Barbell in Marietta, Georgia, and they didn't coach me with specific workouts that were written. They would come in and they would be like, "Today is this," and today, and I didn't have to think about it, and it was fun. When I have to sit down and look at everything, and there's a set amount of time you have to do things, and you have to take video, especially if your coach is online or something like that. I can't do it. It's like a job, and I do this for fun. So the coaches that I had told me I was uncoachable.
Those were remote coaches, all of them. So, you know, so
The remote, the in person, all of them.
also, I was gonna say, like, because it sounds like the in person you'd be a little bit easier with, because they basically just like, go do this, go do that, and you just go do it, and you like the lifting part. It doesn't sound like you're saying, like, you know, you wouldn't do your accessories. It's more like, I can't be bothered to look at the program and, you know,
The
follow the
first
little
Right.
right.
They were like, "You did this," and I was like, "Yeah, I did it." And they were like, "Come on, you did." This is when my two coworkers were coaching me, They were like, you don't listen. You don't listen. You don't do what he tell you to do. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I'm like, I did it. And they were like, I told you to take videos. Did you take videos? I was like, no, it's a lot of work.
I guess I'm kind of surprised because you're in Georgia. There's a lot of powerlifting in Georgia,
There's
and
a yeah,
I'm
there's a ton
surprised
of it.
that you don't like you're such an outgoing, extroverted person. I'm surprised you haven't like joined a team, like a powerlifting team, or done something where there is live coaching. I mean, you've been very successful. Obviously, you haven't needed the coaching because look at you, you're doing great. You seem like someone who would really enjoy being on a team.
So when I was at Marietta Barbell for 2 years, and I enjoyed going there. I'm so extrovert, and they made it fun, and they let me have my antics and just be me. They didn't try to stuff me into a box. You have some people that are so serious about lifting that to me it takes the fun out of it. I gotta hit this, I gotta hit that, and I'm just I can't do that. That is so stressful, and it just gets to a point where it's not fun anymore.
Mhm.
So when I would go to Marietta Barbell, it was all lifters. It was everybody, and everybody cheered you on, and it was fun. So they were coaching me, and I didn't know it because I made jokes. They let me yell, scream, hoot and holler, and carry on, and it was cool. And when I was there, that's when I went to Sweden, and I got third place in deadlifts on the world stage. It was amazing. It was amazing.
You have a
So,
deadlift, my friend. You
I
have a
got my
deadlift.
arms are so doggone long.
Okay, so you're 5'3".
5'2" and a half, but I'm gonna take 5'3".
Okay, I'll give that to you. I'll give you the half inch. So you're 5'3" and you're
Yes.
132 pounds soaking wet.
Yes. Well,
And
a little less than that, but I struggled to hold on to 132.
at the
So
heaviest, you're
yeah.
132. And
Yes.
what is your biggest deadlift?
My biggest deadlift is 303.
Okay, folks, we got a live one here.
25 kilograms from the sky, from USA.
Come on, Karen! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do
So Sweden, I was going to talk a little bit more about training, but I want to come back to that because you just mentioned Sweden, and that has been a theme for you. I've noticed you really embrace the travel, and you have
Love
had an
it.
opportunity to travel to some wonderful places because
Yes.
of powerlifting. I mean, I suspect you travel anyway, and you would be traveling anyway, but it's a great excuse. And
Yeah.
you and I were in Australia together, which was
Was that not a hoot?
that was a
Oh my
hoot.
God,
That
what
was
a good
awesome. Yeah,
time.
yeah, it was great. So, what have been some of your favorite moments in terms of your destinations that you've been to and the lifting in those places?
Um, let's see. Sweden, I traveled by myself. That was my very first time ever leaving the country. I was lifting with the U.S. Virgin Islands. I joined their Masters team, got invited to Sweden. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm gonna go. So I saved up my money, worked my face off, trained, had a great time, and I went over to Sweden, and that was the bug that was like, I'm anytime I can get to a world stage in another country, I'm gonna do it. Just the people, embracing the people, their way of life. Took the bus everywhere, or we walked, or there were bicycles. It was just seeing another country and trying their food and just, embracing their culture. It was amazing. I think I was in Sweden for seven days, and then traveling back by myself. Slept in the airport. Me and a bunch of other people, and we had a good time. I just was like, if anybody bothers me, they gonna get a fight because I got nothing but time, and I'm not trying to go to jail. But I ain't. And you're not taking any of my stuff, and you're not gonna hurt me. But it was a blast.
You strike me as someone who would have a good time wherever you are.
It's just like, you know what? It's all about a good time. You can't take this too serious. We're not getting paid. Matter of fact, we're paying. So why not embrace the culture, the food, the people, and have a good time. And, get your passport stamp. I'm always first because I'm so little, which really sucks.
I'm always
Um,
first too, and I'm not as little as you.
right? And it's like, doggone it, I'm first again. Oh, man. Okay, fine.
I was like, oh my God, I got to be second this time. Wow.
Right, right. Exactly.
For those who
It's
don't
a
compete, when we're in a competition, they start with the lowest weight. The weight never goes down on the bar, so they're always increasing the weight. So whoever's going to lift the least goes first.
right.
And that may be
Yeah.
because they're the weakest, or it may just be because they're small, or a combination of the two. But yeah.
Right. For me it's kind of a combination. No, it's because I barely make weight all the time. I can't stand it, and I'm just stuffing my face, eating, 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 and my metabolism is so fast it just burns it off. And I'm like, God, I'm on the platform first again.
And you're like, I'm eating all the food, and I can't gain.
It's a pain in the neck. So you know what? I don't worry about it anymore. I'm just like I'm gonna um, eat and lift, and do functional stuff, and stay moving, and you know I'm not going to let that stress me to the point where it affects my attitude toward the sport, because then it's not fun anymore. It's like work. And I love the sport so much, I don't want it to feel like work, because it robs me of the joy of getting to meet like nice people like you and a bunch of the other ladies that I've had an opportunity to share the platform with. And I like to bring good, happy energy. I'm always approachable. I'm not a mean girl. Will never be, have never been. I just want us all to enjoy the sport and have a good time and do your best.
I've never, honestly, I haven't met any lifters that are in our general demographic, masters lifters, that are mean girls. I don't think it really attracts that kind of person anyway. I think our sport is a little bit of a niche sport. I feel like, but I don't know about younger women. I haven't really met a lot of women that were not nice, but that's just been maybe I've been lucky. Have you?
I have, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I still, I still embrace them, and I don't want to say they've been mean girls, but I met a couple of women that were just so laser focused, and when they didn't make a lift, they beat themselves up, or if they started too high or something like that, I'd see them go off in the corner by themselves and be crying, and I'm just like, I hate to see that. It's not. I mean, I'm not sure what everyone's why is on why they lift, but don't beat yourself up if you don't make a lift. Just live to fight another day. I hate to see it. I I I have DQ'd twice in my career, and it was hard, but I still tried to make the most of it. You
Mhm.
know. Now, if there was some money involved, if this was going to be a big old pot and we're all going to get rich, I would still be the same way. um, because I love this. I love it so much because I've just met some of the nicest people, and I don't know. I'm just one of those people that's like, it's not that serious. Just back to the lab, go back to the drawing board, and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we all invest ourselves in things in different ways, and some
Right,
people, it's perspective.
right,
It's hard to fail. So if you've had a goal, and I think on the one hand you want to have goals
right,
and be reaching for something specific because that helps.
right,
But on
right,
the other hand, if you're attached to the goal, then you don't make it. And even I think I don't know if you find this, being attached to it can make it harder to get it. Like
right,
if you're thinking about the result more than the process, you're more likely to fail. Has
right.
been my experience. Do you agree? To find the same thing?
I totally agree. I
So
totally agree.
so when you have failed a lift that you were working really hard for, I'm sure you're setting goals. Like the first time you wanted to hit 300 on a deadlift. Did you get 300 when you were first after 300 on deadlift, or did you miss it?
No, I missed it.
Hmm.
And then I was like, oh, darn it. But that's okay. It was about the journey, and I got there. And someone once told me, I don't remember who told me this, but they were like, if you go 9 for 9, uh did you really try? And I was like, you know, that's there's some people that tried really hard and some people that didn't, but it made a lot of sense. So I remember when I got my first 9 for 9. It was exhilarating. It was amazing. And then I was like, well, I gotta get more. And then I had to step back so I didn't get a big head and jinx myself. And then just go right back into the process and just have a good time with it. Because for me, it's just about a good time. There's some people that I don't know what their end goal is with powerlifting. I'm not sure, but mine is just to have a good time and just keep meeting people and be doing this when I'm 70, God willing when I'm 80, and maybe be the first 100-year-old that is still doing it and have 30 years in the game or whatever. That's my goal, just to be able to keep doing it for as long as I can.
We're winning just by showing up.
That part.
But you're a fierce competitor. And I don't mean that in the sense of like you're the most supportive, wonderful person to compete against. I mean, you and I were like cheering for each other and hugging each other on the platform.
Listen, when I met you, I was like, because we low key we follow, but we kind of low key stalk. We're like, oh, look, she did that. Oh my God. And I just was like, and I got a little nervous, and then I was like, but you know what though? We're all nervous.
Yeah.
So let's not go. Why don't we just go out here and have a good time? And I'm just like, I'm supporting everybody. I'm yelling, I'm screaming, I'm clapping for everybody. If you're in my class, if you're not in my class, I'm rooting for you.
I'm the same way. It's like if I'm gonna beat you, it's gonna be because I had the best day possible.
Right,
I want you to have the best day possible.
right,
And if I had a better day than you, when we both were able to put in the most effort that we could, then so be it. But
right,
I'm gonna cheer for you. But when I
right.
say you're a fierce competitor, what I mean is you're focused and you're fierce. Like you want it. And it's a great combination because you've got that intensity, but then you're
Yeah.
like, but we're just having a good time.
Right. At the beginning, it's like, oh my God, it's a good time. Then when I hit that when I hit that 300 in Sweden, I was like, oh my God, how good did that feel? And then one of the ladies from another country, she bombed, and I went up to her and I was like, you know what? You're amazing. We were all here together, and I wouldn't have got to meet you if we weren't on this world stage together. And I gave her a big hug, and she cried a little bit, and she said her English. I think she was from Germany,
Mm.
and she said to me, she told me I was amazing, and I was like, I'm just, I just want to be a ray of sunshine.
Well,
That's all I want to be.
you succeed. That's
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
Well, on that note, you've had some hard stuff going on in your life the last couple of years. You've had some
Yeah.
loss. It's been rough in some ways, and so I'm wondering, like, how has that affected your training, your ability to train? Has it made it harder to get motivated to train, or is it the reverse that the training has helped you through that stuff?
So I didn't. I was really lost when I lost my sister. My sister passed away in the end of COVID. I think it was 2021. And she was one of my fiercest cheerleaders. And when I lost my sister, I was really lost. I still grapple with it from time to time. And then I was like, do I still want to do this? And and people they were very supportive, and they were like, your sister would want you to do this, but I was going to quit. Um, and I wanted to be that person that just, sat in a chair and ate really bad and just not cared anymore. And I probably should have got some grief counseling,
Mm.
but I kind of smiled through it, and my heart was just broken. She was my oldest sister. When COVID hit, I wanted her to come and stay with me because she had health issues. She was overweight. She had congestive heart failure, diabetes, kidney disease, high blood pressure. I call it the COVID cocktail. And I just wanted her to come here to Georgia with me and let me help her and She was like, no, I can't leave. I can't leave my god kids, and I just can't close up everything and come down there. And then when I found out um, that she had gotten COVID, and when I got the call that I would have to make the decision on, to take her off of the ventilator, I felt like I was 7 and couldn't, I was like, I can't make that decision. That's my sister. That she's all I got. We lost her mom in 2012. And then she made the decision on her own to go ahead and go on and be with God. And I didn't, I didn't get to say goodbye. So I struggle. And this past year, my deadlifts went down, my bench, everything went down. My bench went down, my squat went down, and I had to have a meeting with myself and just be like, you know what, Kay, you got to get it together, because Cheryl was your biggest. My sister's name was Cheryl, and she was my biggest fan, and she would not be happy with you putting on this act and not letting people know that you're heartbroken. You need to get yourself together. You need to find you need to find your why again, and get your butt back in there and start picking that weight up like you know you can. And I did Celtic Clash with my cousin in March of this year, and it was good, but I wasn't 100%. Um, and then I did Southeast Regionals, and then I said, I was like, what's gonna be your catalyst to get you out of this rut that you've been in? You haven't been trying. And I kind of went through the numbers, and I want world records now. I only have state. So now I want world records, and I'm not going to stop until I get them. I'm getting ready to turn 60, and there's, I've so much to be grateful for. My kids are all healthy, and I'm healthy. So I need to stop playing around and doing a shuck and jive and get my butt in the gym and start lifting. And December 1st, after Thanksgiving, I just was like, it's time to put all that aside and do what you do best. Get out there and lift heavy weights. I want a 320 deadlift. I want about 145, 150 bench, and at least a solid 250 um squat. I want them world records, and I gotta get it. And now I'm like, I'm motivated. I feel good. If you think it was bad, then wait till I get on this. Wait till I get on the platform in 2026 when I hit the big 6-0.
This is what I'm saying about you being a fierce competitor, right? Like, yeah, it's all fun and games. I'm getting those numbers. I'm getting those world records. Like, yeah,
I'm getting those, and
no
I
doubt.
I thought about it, and I was like, maybe I'll get a coach, and I say, you know what, you ain't gonna follow what they tell you to do. Get it together. Find something that works for you, follow it to a T, get yourself strong, and go get and go chase those numbers. That once I do that, then maybe I'll find something else to do. Maybe I'll do a high rocks.
Too much running.
Only place I'm running is to my car when it's cold.
Yeah, no running for me. I mean, I have an excuse because I have all kinds of knee stuff, but I hate running.
Right.
I've hate
I
I
ain't running.
no, no running for me. Yeah, thank God for lifting. Give me a barbell. I'll anytime I'll take a barbell.
Exactly.
Well, you know, we have seasons in our life, and you maybe you didn't have a choice, but I think it's okay to respect the season, also. And
Yeah.
you know, you you had a lot that you were carrying. You didn't need extra weight.
Yeah, I had to drop that off and pick back up the other one.
You have gone 9 for 9. What meat stands out as like one of your favorites or your best, where you just felt like,
Sweden.
yeah,
Even though I didn't go 9 for 9, my first international meet was amazing. Oh my God, everything clicked. I got all my squats. I didn't get my third bench, and I got all my deadlifts. I felt amazing. Got there early enough where I could acclimate to the time change and the weather, and I was with some amazing women. That
oh
was
yeah,
I have to say that was the best meet. Then it was the Gold Coast. Everything international was just, oh my gosh. It was the most fun. And I can tell people now, right? You got to get there early. You need to get a couple days to acclimate to the time change. You will be dehydrated, so you got to drink a lot of water, and don't try to get there like a day or two before you lift. You get at least three. Give yourself at least 3 days before you lift, so you can get your hydration back up, your sleep pattern, and your eating, and you'll do great. That I learned that when I went to Sweden, and it was, like I said, that was the best meet, my first international meet. I just felt like I had hit the pinnacle of my career, and I didn't even scratch the surface. But it was amazing.
Well, that's great advice that you just gave. Any other tips you would give to someone who might be listening who's getting ready to do their first, either international or even, folks that
Local.
have to travel? Well, some people have to travel, like go across the country to do a
Right.
national meet, even,
Right.
but something where it's big, there's a lot of people, it's multi-day, it's a big stage, it's a long way to get to, that kind of thing. And it's their first time doing that. What else would you suggest?
Give yourself grace. Don't compare yourself to others. You put in the work, you did what you needed to do, go show it off. Do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else, and enjoy and embrace the event. Don't kill yourself. Don't stress. Have a good time. The hard work is already done. All you got to do is go and show them what you do. That's the most important thing.
Great advice. I agree with all of that. I also find definitely getting there early is super important, giving yourself some space, the further away you're going. And if you're going east, it's harder to adjust.
Yep.
The body has a harder time with the jet lag and stuff, so you need even more time. Food, think about what you're going to be eating
Yep.
there. If you're on, like, trying to
If you're
make
on a
weight.
special diet and you're trying to make
Yeah, or
weight.
you need to make weight. Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to sort of familiarize myself with the options around. So, like when we went to Gold Coast, I scoped out. There was that mall near where we
Yeah.
were lifting, and they had
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There was like a crepe place, and I was like, "That's breakfast." 'Cause
Yep.
I love to load up on pancakes or waffles.
We went there too.
Yeah, that's the perfect pre-meet food. So it's good to, scope it out,
Yep.
and know what your options are before you have to make
And don't
decisions.
do anything. Don't do anything. If you if you're not sure, stick with what you know. Like if you find a hamburger or chicken, stick with that.
Experiment.
Don't
Not
experiment
the time to start
with other
experimenting with
food.
exotic curry.
Right. Do not experiment with exotic cuisine until after you've competed. Then just go and be as bad as you want, because
Like,
there's nothing worse than on meat day you experience and try something that you never had before and your stomach ain't right. That will mess you up.
that is some solid advice right there. I hope people take that one to heart. That's a good one.
That's the biggest thing. So I don't experiment until after competition. I stick with what I know, and then once competition is over, I'm all in for whatever. That way, if my stomach's not right or it didn't sit well, I'm good. I've already done what I've come in and done my work.
So you are in a great position for me to ask a few questions to help our audience out, because there hopefully are people that are going to hear this that are not yet lifting, but are
Okay.
getting serious about it, want to, or thinking about it, or just starting out. And you are a personal trainer yourself. So you
Yes.
have both the perspective of the client, not having necessarily been trained because you're uncoachable, as you've said, but
They're gonna see this and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, she said it."
what advice would you give, first of all, to someone who is just starting? And should they get a trainer? Is that necessary? How do they pick a trainer? How do they know if it's a good fit, the trainer that they
Um,
get?
Find a trainer that listens, because a lot of times you'll run into trainers that just want you to do what they tell you to do, but they don't listen to what you're talking about, what you have going on. I'm a big listener. Because people tell you what they need. I've noticed in the industry, you have a lot of trainers, personal trainers and coaches that don't listen. They just want to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do until I understand what you need. It's active listening. My clientele is anywhere between early to mid 40s all the way into the 80s. And I always ask first thing, what are you looking to do? Don't be afraid to use the entire gym. You pay for this. Don't put yourself on just machines. Understand that dumbbells, they serve the same purpose. They make you work harder because they work with your stabilizer muscles to keep you from like dropping weights on your stuff. But don't be afraid to try everything. I'm not in the beginning. Don't slam a lot of weight on people. You have to let them build up to it. And you have to be patient with that. There's some trainers that I've noticed that they want to, train the senior generation like they would train younger kids and stuff like you can't do you just got to be careful and listen and talk to people and always make yourself approachable. I'm approachable and I make training enjoyable because people don't want to go to the gym. They go to the gym because they have to, or they've been, health, muscle loss, osteopenia, which is huge, hip issues, knee issues, back issues, neck issues. A lot of the younger trainers that come in, they want to be like trainer to the stars and stuff like that. That's like a drop in a bucket. You have to be trainer to general population. Most people, as they age, they want to be able to play with their grandchildren. They want to have a good quality of life and they're looking for longevity. You're not going to get people that want to power lift. You're not going to get people that want to bodybuild. You're not going to get people that want to run marathons and stuff like that. So everyone's training is different. You can't put people in a box. And you know, I see a lot of some of the trainers, I see them having 50, 60-year-old people doing box jumps. Why? Did you actively listen to what they were saying?
And not that box jumps are necessarily not a good thing for someone who's 50 or 60. It really depends on their goals.
You're right.
I've done box jumps. I'm 59, 58.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a power lifter, and box jumps help with power. So,
Right.
but I also have problems with my knees, and my coach knows that. So
Right.
that's like you said, it's listening, like maybe it's a good idea in theory, but my body doesn't respond well to it, or there are
Right.
risks for me that not someone else might not have. What I've seen is there's two dangers with a trainer for an older person. One danger is that they push too hard, and the
Right.
other danger is that they don't push hard enough.
Right.
And there are personal trainers out there who I think treat older people like they're very delicate and frail and they can't do
Can't do
hard
that.
stuff. And that's just as bad
Right.
in its own way. You're doing as much damage to that person that way as you would be if you had them doing too much. So, it sounds like from a client's perspective, I think it seems like you're saying that, listen to your gut as a client. Do
Right.
you feel like you're being heard? Do you feel like you're being seen? Do you feel like your needs are being taken into account? Are you being pushed hard enough without being pushed too hard? And
Right. And they'll let you know I can do more. And that's where the active listening comes in. It's communication and treating people the way you would want to be treated. And what a lot of the newer trainers don't understand, you are always on display. The world's biggest stage is the gym, and people, especially where I am, people watch. They watch how you are with a trainer. If they see you leaning, they see you sitting down on the ground. If you're not explaining something, and you're just
looking
sitting
at
there while the client is doing something,
looking at your phone.
right? Look at being on your phone, not being engaged, not being active with your client. They don't want. They will not train with you. That's one of the biggest things that I take with me when I go into the gym every morning. Every day is a new day. I do what I love, so I don't work a day in my life, and I hang around with people that I get an opportunity to help, and that's how I do it. The biggest thing is, like you said, don't be the amount of youngsters, the younger trainers that's on their phone standing there, just not being engaged with their client is crazy to me. And then they get mad when you pull them to the side and say something. Okay, you want to eat like I eat, you should. I'm trying to give you these tidbits. That's it. That's all it is.
You got to introduce your friend.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is Joy.
Hi,
This
Joy.
is she was supposed to be my emotional support dog when I lost my sister. I found out that I'm her emotional support person. So we might need to get another one for her.
And what did you tell me about Joy earlier? Boy poodle.
She's a 6 pound toy poodle that thinks she's a 100 pound Rottweiler. And it's all about her.
Like her mama, except it's not all about you. All right. Well, we've been at this a while. I would love to know just sort of some last thoughts that you might have. You said a lot about sort of aging and lifting. What would you want women our age to know about strength and how it relates to getting older?
Strength is longevity. It's longevity. Don't be afraid to pick up more than 8 or 10 pounds. It's okay. Build that your muscle so you won't break a bone, you won't break an ankle, a hip, or something like that. Because as you age, those injuries are a lot harder to get over when you're in your 50s, 60s, and you don't have muscle mass to help the bone heal. So don't be afraid to lift weights. Don't be afraid to lift heavy. Find you a trainer that cares. Watch how they treat their clients. And if you don't see them doing the same cookie cutter thing, that's a trainer for you. If you see a trainer that takes time and talks to their client before they hit the floor, that's a trainer for you, because they will actively listen to what you're saying, and they will uh, put together a plan that is your plan and not yours and 200 other people. That's
So,
what you want to see.
as an uncoachable athlete yourself, but as a trainer, how can clients, and those of us that are working with a coach or hiring a trainer be a good client and get the best results for themselves?
Be honest. Be honest about what you're eating or not eating, or the amount of wine you drink, or the amount of alcohol you take in. Or just be honest with what you want and understand it didn't take you overnight to get where you are, and it's not going to be overnight to get where you want to be. Consistency. Be consistent, and just like the trainer should actively listen, the client should actively listen too, because we're here to help, and that's it. Just be honest. Relationship. Have a relationship with your personal trainer. We're mean, but we love you.
And my coach made me do something really hard, and I ended the video giving him the finger on both of my hands. Not only did he know that means I love him and he's helping me, but he posted it on his Instagram story.
Did he? I gotta go check it, because I thought you want to hear something crazy. I thought about contacting him to be my coach, but then I was like, you know what? I am so uncoachable. Joe would probably be like, you know what? I can't help you. You continue to be you. You're doing good. I'm so
Oh,
uncoachable. He's an amazing guy. I don't know how you guys met him. I follow him on Instagram, and I watched when he handled you. I just was like, he is amazing. And if I could be half as good uh trainer as he is a coach, I'm doing good.
well, I promised those listening that he did not pay for this promotion. it's, it's true. And the way that I found him was I was on social media, and he has tattooed on his arm, live, learn, pass on. And that's sort of his whole approach to everything. So he gives away a ton of information on social media for free. You know,
Yeah.
he posts these great informational, and he's been doing that for years. And I just was watching them,
Yeah.
and I needed to get a new coach, and I was like, this guy knows how to communicate, and he knows his stuff. I reached out to him,
Yeah.
and he luckily for me was willing to coach me.
Right.
I think I am pretty coachable. I do what I'm told, and I'm okay videoing and all that stuff. So
I
I
really
haven't made
want
it
to
too
learn how
hard
to
on him.
do
I give
that.
him the finger from time to time, but I think I'm pretty. But I'm sure he would agree, like what you just said, like that listening thing, the communication. It's all about the communication. I mean, you need to have knowledge, which you do. You need to, know your stuff. But other than knowing your stuff, it's
You
about
need to,
communication.
yeah, you need to communicate, 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 and be consistent. If you're not a consistent trainer, your clients are not going to be consistent and they will fall off. I've had my clientele I've had uh probably at least 8 to 9 years. And they send people to me. And it's because it's probably just because I make it fun because again, people don't want to be there. And they get results and they're like, "Oh, I want your arms." And I'm like, "Well, I work pretty hard, and I'm going to need you to work pretty hard too. I'm not going to kill you, but I want you to reach your goals, and I want you to know that it's okay to have light days. It's okay to have heavy days. We got to mix it up. You have to be honest with me with what you're eating. I'm working on nutrition. I've never had to worry about nutrition. So I have to work on my knowledge of it. I eat what feels right. Um and I'm constantly eating. I The biggest thing, I have a story. I have a jacket, my work jacket, and I keep food in my pockets. Yes. Wrap it up in a napkin and I put it in my pocket. So I was going to get my client and I pulled cheese out of my pocket. It was in a napkin. But I pulled some cheese out of my pocket and everybody looked at me and I was like, "What? It's protein, it's quick, it's in a napkin. I'm hungry. I don't have enough time to sit down and eat." So I pulled some cheese out of one pocket and then maybe 20 minutes later I pulled a chicken nugget out of the other pocket. I gotta eat.
The cheese I get, the chicken nugget, that's pretty funny.
It was remember Trading Places when Dan Aykroyd, did you
The
watch that
salmon,
movie?
the
The
fish.
Salmon. That's me. That's what I do. As long as it's wrapped up in a napkin or in it's okay. I gotta eat. I eat on the run. And that's how I maintain I gotta get my calories in. I gotta do what I gotta do.
I think that the message of this is that everyone is different and different things work for different people.
Yep.
And anybody who tells you there is one way to do pretty much anything is full of it.
Right.
And I mean, there are some things like, yeah, you do need a certain amount of protein. If you don't need a certain amount of protein, you can't build muscle because the
Right.
protein is what gives you the building blocks to build the muscle.
Build the
So,
muscle.
that's just a rule. How
Right.
much exactly? That's a little bit more, there's standards and stuff. But like, you can do what you do. You can have macros. You can have a meal plan. You cannot have a meal plan. Whatever. If it works for you, that's
Right.
what matters, right? And I'm sure you.
Everyone is different. You can't train everyone the same way. Everybody can't eat the same way. You have people that do have eating disorders that have to be careful with what they do. That's where active listening and communication comes into play with what they do. And you have people that are not honest with what they're eating and they don't see the results and to push blame, they push the blame on you. And I'm like, "Listen, I'm only with you 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, days a week. You're not being honest with me. You're not seeing the goals you want to see because you're not being honest with me." That's when we have to pull out the notebook and now you have to write down everything that you're taking in.
Mhm.
Everything. I need to see what you're eating because you're not being honest with me. So now I got to be mean and make you write it down.
I'm sure there are people that just aren't telling you what they're eating. There's also the folks that are like, they don't realize what they're eating or they don't realize how much. So measuring can be tricky because, like eating disorders,
Right.
you said, but if you don't measure ever, you have no idea. You're just
Right,
guesstimating, and people guesstimate low. You know this.
right, right,
So they say they're having, a little bit of peanut butter, a tablespoon of peanut butter. They're having that much peanut butter,
right,
Like I know exactly how much a tablespoon of peanut. I know I can tell you to the gram now because I've been measuring for a while, so I don't have to
right,
measure everything. But
right.
yeah, so I think that's just an important message for people if they're struggling with.
Right. And it's and again it's my I always tell clients if you don't have a relationship with food, you are setting yourself up for failure. Food is fuel. And that's why I tell everybody food is fuel. When know when to take in your carbs, know when to take in your protein, know when to take in your fats and your veggies and stuff like that. Just know when to eat. If you know you're a mover and shaker, your carbs should be a little higher during the day when you're moving and shaking. When you're doing a lot of sitting, you shouldn't take in as you shouldn't take in carbs. You don't take them out of your diet. Just learn how they work and what they do. You got to know what it's used for because your car is the same way. You put gas in your car. If you don't have no gas in your car ain't gonna take you nowhere. If you don't have no fuel in, if you don't have no fuel in your body's not gonna do what you need it to do.
Right.
It's not hard.
Nope. Well, we could talk about this for another hour. I hopefully I'll have you back to do that because we also didn't get to talk about your Harleys, and I really
So
wanted to, but
I have two. I have my 2014 Harley Davidson 883. That bike's name is Purple Haze. I bought Purple Haze when my daughter went off to college, and I always wanted a motorcycle, and that was one of the things my sister and I were supposed to do together was to ride the United States on motorcycles. Um, and I love that bike. I still have it. And then I went out and I got Big Daddy Blue. Big Daddy Blue is a 2012 Road King. It's a bagger, and that's going to be my bike for my 60th. I've been riding, but that's going to be my 60th birthday present where I ride through the United States on my Road King.
oh, how
That
awesome!
is my goal. I'm going to start planning to go to different rallies and different riding in different states. I did it on my Sportster. Now I can do it on my bagger, and it's a bigger bike, and I can carry more stuff and just see the world on two wheels. That's my goal.
Well, you just embody badassery in every possible way. I mean,
Thank you so much. I appreciate
the
you.
lifting would be enough, but then you got not just one, but two Harleys, and wow, like that's just so
And,
cool. Okay, so couple quick questions, and then we're gonna wrap this up. What is
okay.
what is your favorite lift of the three big lifts? I'm gonna guess.
Deadlift, baby, baby.
Deadlift is big.
I'm gonna get a 320, 325 deadlift this year.
Okay, I'm
I
on
love
that.
the deadlift.
You're
Oh,
gonna that's your thing.
what's yours?
I like them all actually. I have a thing for the squat.
Okay.
I don't know why. There's just something about putting that bar on your back and
That's badassery.
kind
That's
of
what
what it
that is.
represents.
Yeah.
It's also the scariest one, but it was historically my best lift. But
Right.
my deadlift is finally starting to come. It's taken 10 years, 8 years to really learn how to deadlift.
So I'm like you. I love them. I love them all. I love deadlift. I struggle with bench. So I'm paying close attention to bench and my best squat is like 230.
Mm.
So I want to get to at least a 240 250 squat.
Yeah, 242 is my goal for this coming year. 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to get a 275 deadlift. So you're way beyond me on deadlift, but that's not uncommon. That's my
But
point.
you know what? You know what it is though? I'm shorter. And I've got these humongously long arms where I could scratch my knees without bending.
You're
So
built for it. Yeah, I don't
yeah.
have deadlift arms at all. I don't really have I don't have a power lifter's body. I don't actually have the ideal leverages for any lift.
But let me tell you something. You do your thing though. You do your thing.
But that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yep.
We are doing our thing, and that's what matters. And
Absolutely.
that's what makes it a beautiful sport.
Yep.
Um, I have to ask because I want to make a list. What song gets you hyped?
Um,
Particular song that like you're gonna play for your in your headphones right before you go for that big deadlift?
click,
That's good.
click, click, boom.
I think so. I think
That's
so.
between that, listening to that, and then a little bit of nose torque. Oh my God, it's time to start lifting heavy shit and putting it down.
All right. So last question for people that want to follow you, that want to see you on your journeys on your bike, that want to see you hitting those goals in training. I know you're not videoing yourself that much, but we can still get some.
I'm gonna start. I promise
All right.
myself I
Well,
will
where
start
can
videoing.
people find you on socials or wherever?
On Instagram, I'm 6 ounces of whoop ass.
Best handle ever.
On Facebook, I am Karan, Karan, S is in Sam, period, Taylor. As well as TikTok, Karen S. Taylor. But I should change everything to 6 ounces of whoop ass. 'Cause that's
Branding,
what I
baby.
am. My kids keep telling me to do that. I gotta brand that. 6 ounces of whoop ass.
I'll buy that shirt.
Woohoo! You know what? I'm gonna get some made, and you don't have to buy it. I'll send it to you.
Fair enough. Karen, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. I could go
Thank
for another
you.
hour. It's just fun to shoot the shit with you. But what's your next competition?
I'm trying to decide which one, but I will keep everyone posted because there's one that I want to do here where I want to be able to make sure that I can break world records. And so I'll keep you posted. But right now we're in that building phase to get those lifts up and to keep my muscle on because I should probably have a cane because I'm gonna be 60. But you know what? I feel too good. Take the cane, throw it in the trash, and go make it happen, baby.
Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you again.